Vanakkam Namaste Sitaram and welcome to another installment in that mini series Balidhaan. And in this particular video, we are going into the Smriti to show where Balidhaan again is mentioned or sacrifice in this aspect, and it pertains to animals. All right, and you know we will go and it shows where rules are given, where consuming of the meat or of the offering which is of Balidan. All right, so we are going into chapter 5 and we are going to verse, I believe, 30. We're going to verse 31. So chapter 5 in the Manu Smriti, and we're going to verse 31, where it states, the consumption of meat is befitting for sacrifices. That is declared that is declared to be the rule made by the gods. But to persist in using it on other occasions is said to be a proceeding worthy of rashness, which means up to that point, it is befitting, right, to eat the offering once it is done in a ritual or sacrifice, and that's the meat or the animal is offered. So this aspect, the balidan or the offering of the animal can be consumed after it has been used for a ritual. I that aspect of offering to the devatas or the devi, particular devatas or devis. But to consume the meat otherwise is more or less, you know, worthy of being ways of a rakshas or a asura or a demon, right? So it gives that aspect. Then we go to verse we go between verses 39 to 42, where it states animals were created for the sake of sacrifices. Sacrifices have been instituted for the good of this whole world. Hence, the slaughtering of beasts, right, for sacrifice is not slaughtering in the ordinary sense of it, which means it states here, right, animals were created for that sense of doing rituals, and the slaughtering of the animal, right, with once it is within a ritual manner or for purpose of a ritual, is not considered a slaughtering, right? And this is so profound. This particular verse is so profound because why? As we go further down in the videos, and I'm looking at where we are going when we go into the Srimad Devi Bhagavatam, in when we talks about the part where those who are meat eaters can offer them. So this is more or less within the aspect of they're talking about Naratri within the the Devi Bhagavatam, and it talks about offering. It talks about the killing on the animal is known as a non-killing or known as ahimsa, and we'll go into more detail when we go into that particular Puran in that particular video where this particular verse aligns itself with that verse that gives those who are meat eaters can offer a balidan to the Devi. So when we go into the the Srimad Bhagavatam, this verse and that verse is going to align with each other. Right? Verse 40 in the Manu Smriti also said, herbs, trees, cattle, birds, and other animals have been destroyed for sacrifice, receive once being reborn higher existences. So once birds, herbs, trees, and all the other animals used for ritual purposes, Vedic ritual purposes, that's we could utilize here. Once they use for rituals, in the exist when they come back, when they're reborn, because we as Hindus believe in reincarnation. Once they are more or less returned to the earthly realm or reborn, they get a higher existence because they were used in a ritual. They were used for a purpose of oblations or so forth. All right. 41. On offering the honey mixture to a guest at a sacrifice and at the rites in honor of, but on these occasions only may an animal be slain. So when I talk about honey mixture, we could talk about that aspect of soma. Right? There is an aspect of there is a ritual called, you know, that Soma offering, where when you offer, you can do a balidhaan also. I think the balidhaan is done before or after. When I go into Vedic rituals, I will verify that perfectly. I'm not going to quote it here because I'll be pulling out of it. But within that Soma offering, that actual ritual of offering Soma, which is a fermented juice, a balidhaan offering can be done also. Right? So we have here in the Manu Smriti where it talks about the meat, that meat of an animal can be consumed once it is utilized as an offering, once it has more or less been an offering to the offering to devatas and devis. So in short, once there has a balidhan has been performed, an animal sacrifice has been performed according to law, according to the law of Manu here, the meat of the animal can be consumed, and we see this. We see this. We see this anywhere. Right, most of the balidans, because there are balidans for different purposes, for sickness and other different things. But where it is almost like a thanksgiving or our appreciation and aspect or so forth, we do see where the animal, once it has been offered and the ritual of balidan has been done, it is taken away, where it is cleaned, cleansed, chopped, cooked, and is offered back to those around who are in the rituals and so forth as prasadam. Right? And we'll see this in India, and I will show you where, which part in India, different places in India, that is done. We see in the Caribbean, be it Suriname, be it Guyana, and be it in Trinidad and Tobago, we see it here. And for those who have gone abroad to to try to more or less preserve the rituals and of this aspect of worship in foreign countries, for those who have migrated, you see it there also. So this is our next indication that Balidan does exist and how far it has gone. So we have more or less within the laws of Manu Smriti, where it shows this also. So we have this aspect, right? As we move on, the other video I'm going to go into from moving on from this, we will enter into the different Purans to show you again where Balidan has been mentioned, where rituals were given how to perform this in particular, and whatever little nuggets extra I could extract from these scriptures, I will give you also pertaining to the Balidan and other aspects of the rituals, however, that you may know of or you may have seen and not understood on. I was like, oh, so that's what they were doing and so forth. So when I'm going into the Purans now, I will more or less give now indication to which Purans we see Balidan has been mentioned and so forth. Right? So I hope to see you in the other video as I proceed on this mini series. So um to not so to recollect on this right here again, we went into the Manu Smriti, and we went into um, chapter 5, and we dealt from verse 31 with the consumption of meat as befitting for sacrifices. Then we went from 39 to 42, where it shows you that, animals were created for the purposes of sacrifices and so forth. And the slaughtering of the animal, once it's within law and it is used for in word ritual, is not slaughtering. And the animal more or less, and the animal also the different herbs and trees and cattle and whatever else that is used for these banner rituals receive a higher existence when they reincarnate or come back. Because we Hindus, as I said, we Hindus believe in reincarnation. So when they are reborn, they get a higher existence. Because why? Because within this ritual, there it is certain karma that the animals would have had would have been extinguished, would have been nullified, or whatever, to allow them to rise higher than they were before. So I hope to see you in the other video. All right, Vanakam Sitaram.